15 seconds until airtime.
All right, have fun.
This is Duck Insider.
Duck's going to pick it up, and here we go. Got him deep. He's open. He's got it, and he's gone.
How about that?
Oregon repeats as the Pac-12 champion.
Omarui for three. Yes! Oh, and a steal and slam for Williams. Duarte to the basket. The slam. For the third time in the last 5 years, the Ducks are Pac-12 champions. Outright champ.
Foley three. Goal! Volleyball. Left wing. Pow. Yeah, boom, boom. Regular season champions, and now Pac-12 tournament champions.
Welcome to Duck Insider.
We're just getting started.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College. Presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Better banking, local solutions. Live from the Country Financial Studio, here's Joey Mack.
Oregon men's basketball controls its own destiny, everybody. Isn't that the best thing that you can say? That's right. The Ducks control their own destiny down the stretch for a Pac-12 title. Well, the Ducks owe a little bit of thanks to a few teams across the conference as a result, but none of that's even going to matter from this past weekend unless the Ducks take care of business and take care of business, honestly, against some very, very good opponents here against Arizona coming up tonight, 6 o'clock tip-off. We'll have a 5:30 pregame show across the Oregon Sports Network. It's going to be televised on ESPN2. And UCLA is coming to town. Fourth time's a charm for the Bruins? Is that right? Fourth time's a charm? Yeah, it's so odd. Like, that game that will be played on Wednesday, the fact that it is the fourth time that game has been on the schedule, I think, is the biggest example of the crazy world that we are living in. That's the biggest example of it right there. Man, I am thrilled, though, for this team because we've talked about how Dana Altman always seems to line up that Rubik's Cube, and I think a week ago we were kind of going, oh, man, like after what happened against USC, the Ducks just didn't play well. It wasn't their best day. But now, who knows? Suddenly there's a little help from some other teams across the conference, and it's a huge week for Oregon men's basketball. Should the Ducks take care of business against Arizona, against UCLA, and against Oregon State, Ducks be the champs. This is what it's all about. This is going to be fun tonight. So a 5:30 pregame show and a 6 o'clock tip-off on ESPN2. And the Ducks will also play UCLA as well at 6 o'clock on Wednesday. 5:30 pregame show here on the Oregon Sports Network. And remember that the Pac-12 decided to slide back the start time and the date for Oregon men's basketball's matchup in Corvallis against the Beavs. That'll be at 5 o'clock on Sunday. Also, some scheduling news for everybody today. The Pac-12 football schedule is going to be released tomorrow. I'm a little excited about that. Season tickets are on sale on GoDucks.com. We're hoping that everything is looking a lot better so that fans can be at Autzen Stadium again. But everyone, seriously, the schedule's coming out. I mean, it's coming. It's here. And I'm really looking forward to breaking it all down with you tomorrow. Also of note, Rob Mullins, Oregon Athletic Director, will be with us on Duck Insider tomorrow. Take your Facebook comments and questions from a busy weekend of Oregon athletics. We're going to recap what happened against Cal and what it means for the matchup tonight. Going to hear from Dana Altman. Also take a look at those standings in a little bit more depth. Also, Kelly Graves. We're going to talk with the Oregon women's basketball head coach after what was a rough senior day. There's no other way to put it. I wish that Aaron Boley and Lydia Giomi, not only would the Ducks have won the game, it would have made that senior day a little bit better, but also I just really feel for them that they weren't able to be there in front of a sold-out crowd and address the crowd as they often do. Now, they did it virtually. Those of you who watched it on Facebook, I think you probably really enjoyed it like I did, but it's just not the same. It's just not the same without being there in person. Also, how about women's soccer? Graham Abel's squad taking down Stanford, the defending national champions. We're going to hear from Graham Abel now. Unfortunately for the Ducks, They did not get the win against Cal on Sunday. First loss in the Graham Abel era as the head coach of the Ducks. Oregon now 2-1-1 on the season for women's soccer. Oregon volleyball, 7th straight conference win. An amazing statistic that Darren Eha from Sports Information dug up. It's the first time that the Ducks have won 7 straight Pac-12 matches in the history of the program. Not to discount what this team has done, it is truly a remarkable accomplishment, but how many really good Oregon volleyball teams have we seen in the last 10, 12, 15 years? So the fact that this is the first time they've won 7 conference matches in a row, I'll be honest, that surprised me. When Elena Bergsma was winning Player of the Year and Lauren Plum was here and when Liz Brenner was here, there were so many great teams. And I kind of went, man, to be honest, that even puts it in more perspective, just how impressive this is, what the Ducks are doing right now. Oregon volleyball is just absolutely killing it. Oregon softball got a big win this weekend. Unfortunately, lost this morning. We'll tell you about that. And Oregon baseball season opened up. The Ducks started out with a couple victories and then a couple losses. We'll break all that down with Mark Wazakowski here in just a moment. All right, men's basketball tonight against Arizona. I think that there's some good things to build on after their win over Cal. Ducks did a nice job overall. They pretty much led wire to wire. Ducks have won 7 of their last 8, apart from the blip on the radar against USC, finding a way to win. Now, has every victory for Oregon men's basketball been easy? No. Has every victory for Oregon men's basketball been pretty? No. But is it a victory? Yeah. This time of year, I don't care if you win. I mean, it's March 1st. Happy March, everybody. Happy March Madness. I don't care if you win by 1 point, if you win by 20 points, and if you win looking like a terrible team. As long as you win this time of year, that's all that matters. I think we're past the, you got to win pretty. That's not a thing. That's not a thing. Was really a great weekend, I think, for Oregon men's basketball. So, another short turnaround, though. And I will say the short turnaround is going to be tough on the Ducks. If Oregon is able to take care of business here down the stretch and win the games that we certainly know they're capable of winning, the impressive part to me is going to be that Oregon plays 7 games in 14 days. That's harder than some NBA schedules. You hear about the 10-day road trips where you'll play like 6 games with back-to-back nights and all that in the NBA. Well, that's the NBA. That's what those guys are conditioned for, and that's what they're paid to do. Well, these guys never had to do this before, right? Like, usually when you're in a postseason tournament, like in your conference tournament, it is just completely adrenaline when you're playing 4 games in 4 days. Ducks have done that. 2 years ago, they won the tournament, winning 4 games in 4 days. God, that was fun. That was so much fun. I would just never forget looking at Jerry Allen and I were there in Las Vegas, and I looked at him after Ehab Amin hit a big 3 against Arizona State, and I looked at Jerry and I went, oh my God, they're going to do it. And then they won by 20 against Washington, just totally dismantled Washington. That was the last time Ducks were in a postseason tournament for Pac-12 play. Was that year? Because last year there wasn't really one that Oregon played in. So, I think about that a lot. I'm like, damn, that was fun. That's, though, when adrenaline is all that's carrying you. And frankly, adrenaline was carrying the broadcaster, too. You think I had time to go prep and get everything ready and actually sleep before that game against Washington? No. I mean, that's what really carries you. Now, over a 14-day stretch, totally different ballgame. Totally different ballgame. So if Oregon is able to win games down the stretch and take home a conference crown, you know who the real MVP is going to be? Is the Duck athletic trainer, Clay Jamison. Seriously. I think that Oregon has all the talent to win both of these games here down the stretch. Arizona, UCLA at home, and then Oregon State on the road. I think they have the talent to do it. But the most impressive part to me is going to be the endurance of Oregon men's basketball if they're able to do it. That's something I'm keeping an eye on. That's really something that I'm going to keep an eye on. I'll tell you what, against Cal, you know what I really liked? It wasn't the fact that Eugene Omarui scored 21 points. It wasn't even the fact that Chris Duarte scored 17 points. It was the fact that LJ Figueroa scored 20. LJ Figueroa, I think, impacts the game in so many different ways. And the fact that he had a double-double, 20 points, 14 rebounds, that's what stood out to me the most from the weekend. Big reason why Oregon won by 11 points. Dane Altman said as much postgame. We'll talk to him in just a second. Will Richardson was really good early. I think that Will Richardson's maybe the biggest key for the Ducks down the stretch, to be honest. And the rotation, we saw it shrink a little bit against the Golden Bears. Ducks utilized Amari Hardy for 18 minutes and Amari Hardy for 15 minutes, Chandler Lawson for 18 minutes, but we saw Jalen Terry for 4 minutes and Frank Kepnang for just under a minute. So the rotation really has shrunk for the Ducks here down the stretch. So again, I say endurance going to be really, really, really key. Ducks at home against Arizona. Arizona, a team that is going to not go to the postseason. They're a self-imposed postseason ban. But they are still very, very talented. They've got a number of guys that rebound the ball well. The Ducks were the first team all season to out-rebound the Wildcats, and they won the game. And Chris Duarte hit a huge shot in that game. Remember? Hits that big three, ends up being the game winner for the Ducks. He hadn't shot the ball that well throughout the contest. Hit a big shot when it mattered. That's what Chris Duarte has continued to do, and they might need that again. They might need that again against a very, very good Arizona State team. I think that the real X factor for them is James Akinjo, the Georgetown transfer who was really good against Oregon the first time around. Their guards are very, very talented for Arizona. Ducks going to want to try to force some turnovers. I talked to Dane Altman for our Toyota Coaches Corner that you'll hear on our 5:30 pregame show coming up tonight. Talked to him this morning, and that was the biggest thing that Coach Altman said is we got to get some deflections. We got to bother their guards. They got to press out on the three. I think you're going to see Oregon play a lot of aggressive defense around the three-point line. As a result, really key to rebound well. Really, really key to rebound well. Okay, quick timeout. When we come back, we're going to hear from Dane Altman, continue to preview this big matchup for Oregon men's basketball tonight, and talk about the rest of Oregon athletics. Going to hear from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 head coaches on the show coming up. That's right. That's next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in.
Okay, let me see what I can do.
Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
As my family continued to grow, I realized I'd have to replace my beloved Jeep with something that has, well, more seats. I'm Jason Hines, Country Financial Rep and father of 7. Whether you're upgrading from your sporty ride with no room for a car seat or finally replacing your
That a little bit better.
that still has a cassette player, you'll want the right protection for your new car. Work with a Country Financial Rep like me and get the protection you need at a price you can afford. Learn more at TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College. Learfield IMG College.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
Jelly. Jelly adjective. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
I'm little teapot, short and stout.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
No, Dad, like this. When I get all steamed up, then I shout, tip me over and pour me out.
This is WWE superstar Roman Reigns. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Visit fatherhood.gov, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack here with you. Let's jump into Dane Altman. He talked with the media postgame after the victory over Cal, previewed Arizona a little bit, but mostly just recapping a weekend that was great for Oregon men's basketball. They've won 7 of their last 8. They control their own destiny in the Pac-12. Ducks have, since this interview took place, gotten a little bit of help from the rest of the conference. Dane Altman broke down where the Ducks are at heading into this matchup with Arizona. Coach, let's start first with points off turnovers. You guys force 11 turnovers, and you get 27 points off those turnovers. How big was that in the win today?
LJ did a tremendous job up in the front of the press. And the guys' activity early, Will, very first possession, gets a steal. With the exception of the start of the second half, I thought our activity was really good. I must really be motivating them at halftime, because that's about fifth or sixth time we've just been really sluggish out of halftime. So I'm going to quit talking and let those guys talk at halftime, because we got to get better start second half.
How about LJ Figueroa, though, Coach? 20 points, a double-double with 14 rebounds. He had 5 steals for you as well in that one sequence there with just all the steals and points in just a few seconds.
He was tremendous. He definitely was the difference in the game. His activity defensively, early boards, I thought he was really good. So thought he played his tail off and did some really good things.
Getting ready for Arizona now, Coach. It's a quick turnaround with a big matchup with the Wildcats coming up on Monday.
Real quick turnaround here. And they played this afternoon. I don't know how they did, but, they had big win over USC where they were really sharp, and beat Washington State the other night pretty good. So, no, it'll be a tough game. Obviously, the game there went down to the wire. We just got to get home, get rested, take a day where we just go mentally, hopefully get ready, because physically, playing 4 games in 7 days.
Obviously, you've mentioned before, the Bay Area trip's not always been easy for you guys, but this one was one that it seemed like a mature team went out there and took care of the business that they had to handle very efficiently today.
Yeah, I don't know, James. I know the team was embarrassed. They were upset with the way they played. I think that Eugene and some of the seniors got together and, decided that, the sense of urgency has to be there. So, we did play harder against Stanford. We weren't always real, just locked in, focused. I thought our focus defensively that first half was pretty good, especially the first, 13, 14 minutes when they only had 13 points. I thought our activity was really good. So, I hope there's a sense of urgency, and now we've got a really difficult week ahead after this difficult week. So, our conditioning and our mental toughness will really be tested.
Yeah, Dana, you guys have won 7 of 8, so you're obviously in a little bit of a rhythm. Do you like the way that you're playing overall right now? Can you kind of look back at this long stretch that you've had and be like, hey, we're doing okay?
Yeah, and I don't think we've put it all together. We have those stretches where we're not connected. We give up a few easy baskets. So, I think there's a lot more in the tank. So I think we are making progress. I think we're a better team now than we were, definitely coming out of both pauses. We got everybody. I tightened up the rotation a little bit, but I think, we can get Frank and Jalen, our 2 freshmen, a few more minutes. We got to get those guys on the floor, because this week we got so many ball games and I'm playing guys 30 minutes. We're going to have to spread those minutes out a little bit better. But each game's different, and you got to get the one. You can't worry about the next one. You got to worry about winning this one and then move on to the next one, kind of like tournament play, where you just win the game you're playing, and then hope guys can toughen up and get the next one.
Dana, LJ seemed to be really focused on just hustle plays early on in that game, and how much did that allow the whole team to play better? It really felt like just connectively you guys were playing really good basketball with him focusing on just rebounding and defense.
I think LJ is just a big key for us. He's on the front of the press, and his activity and his energy is such a big key. When he's going, our team seems to play with more energy. So I think he's a huge key for our team. And, when he plays with that kind of energy, we're a much better team. We're a much better team. I mean, right from the start, Will gets the first steal, and then we get some rebounds. I like the way we started the game on the defensive end, and we had some offensive possessions I wasn't really pleased with, but defensively, I thought we did some really good things.
Speaking of defense, Dana, I know we got going a little bit late, but for a while there, you guys were on track to not just your best performance against Bradley, which I think it still is statistically, but he was at one point shaping up for one of the worst games of his career. I know he ended up getting to 12-6, but how did you guys go about containing him? Because I realize some of it just doesn't really matter late. You guys really did, for about 30 to 35 minutes, do about as good a job as anybody's ever done against him.
Yeah, he got the 5 points late there on the drive and foul and hit the three. But I thought, our awareness, Will Richardson did a great job on him. Eric at times, LJ, we were in our zone, different guys had him, but I thought our awareness on him was really good, and enabled us to, contest his shots, not let him get into a rhythm. And because once he gets it going, man, he can get her going. So I thought our guys, a lot of the guys, everybody did a great job.
I know if you look at the box score, you didn't watch the game, you might not think Chandler had a big impact on this game, but just his play the last 2 games has been really good, even if the box score doesn't show it, with just significance he's given you guys off the bench.
No, I think both last 2 games he's come off the bench and been really solid for us. Gives us a different look, with him and Eugene in there. We also went small with Eugene out and him in. So Chandler's been solid. Again, his aggressiveness, I think there's so much more there. I wanted to be more aggressive defensively, more aggressive offensively, on the boards. He's got a lot of experience now in the last 2 years. So we need him to be a little more aggressive, and he's a really good passer and has a good understanding of the game. So just need him to pump it up a little bit.
Was there a matchup you were trying to lean on a bit, Dana, or just what was Frank only played like the 15 to 20 seconds there?
Well, I wanted to get him some minutes there right before a TV timeout. And, they got the layup, and then offensively, I wanted to put Eric in, and I, put him in. We're just going offense, defense there, James, and put Eric in, and he gets the 3 blocked, and they hit a 3. So shows you how much I know. But we were going to go offense and defense there. I wanted Frank to get some defensive possessions in the blue, and we just didn't finish that.
Dana Altman via Zoom. This is the world we live in, and with Zoom post-game press conferences, it's a odd thing. But I think a lot of good things to take away from there. One, Frank Kepnong, I think he's going to be probably playing more tonight against Arizona. I think it's a better matchup for him against Arizona. I think you'll see Big Frank out there, and man, he gives the Ducks some great stuff. And I love that Matt Preem from 24/7 asked that question to Coach Altman. I've been talking with him about that on our pregame interviews as well. That hey, Chandler Lawson's been doing some really good things lately. I think that Chandler Lawson next year, after he gets in the weight room for another year, I think Chandler could be really, really good for this Oregon team. So now the Ducks take on an Arizona squad that, they're pretty good. James Akinjo averaging 15 a game. Azuolas Tubelis averaging 12 a game, and Benedict Mathurin is averaging about 11 a game. Those are the 3 leading scorers for this Arizona team. They can really shoot it from 3. Tell you a little bit more about that. Also, the standings are really something. It is a big, big one tonight as the Ducks control their own destiny. UCLA now sits at 13-4, which is a .765 winning percentage. Then it's Oregon at 11-4 at a .733 winning percentage, and USC at 13-5 with a .722 winning percentage. It's pretty darn close, isn't it? So if Oregon gets the win over Arizona, that would move them to 12-4. They would be right behind UCLA. The Ducks can get a win over UCLA. That would move Oregon to 13-4 and UCLA to 13-5. Ducks control their own destiny, but then they'd have to get it done against Oregon State down the stretch as well. That's the way that things shape up. Win and you're in. Win and the Ducks will win their 4th Pac-12 championship in the last 6 years. That's crazy. That's a lot of championships. But they still got 3 games in front of them to get it done. Up next, we're going to talk a little women's basketball, a kind of a bittersweet day at Matthew Knight Arena. Keep it here on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Dear Wallet, you can't stop a new 2021 Toyota no matter the weather. The Camry all-wheel drive comes out to play. Snowy hills don't stand a chance against the RAV4, and everyone will be comfy in the Highlander. See you in the snow. Toyota. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear Wallet, you can't stop a new 2021 Toyota no matter the weather. The Camry all-wheel drive comes out to play. Snowy hills don't stand a chance against the RAV4, and everyone will be comfy in the Highlander. See you in the snow. Toyota. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
Duck Insider continues after this timeout on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Okay.
Steven.
Who said that?
Me, down here.
Ugh, what are you, a yellow booger?
I'm a banana slug, Steven.
What are you doing in my room?
I'm your sense of adventure. It's been a long time since we've had an adventure in the forest.
Mom took me to the forest last year.
I'm a slug, Steven. It took me a long time to get here.
You're right. I should get out.
Yeah, the forest is not that far away.
Hey, Mom!
Come to the forest where the more adventurous you lives. Check out discovertheforest.org for cool places nearby. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
It's important to buckle up your kids.
I know.
Sometimes car seats can be complicated.
I know.
And if your child's in the wrong seat and you get into a crash,
I know.
it could lead to a serious injury.
I know.
So you're 100% sure you have the right car seat for your child's age and size?
I don't know.
Don't think you know. Know you know. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Make sure you have the right car seat. Visit safercar.gov/the-right seat. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
We're back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack at the Country Financial Studio. 5:30 pregame, 6 o'clock tip-off tonight on the Oregon Sports Network for the Ducks men's basketball against Arizona. And we'll, of course, have it on ESPN2 as well. Meanwhile, for women's basketball, a bittersweet day without Tahina Paopao. That made a huge difference, as Kelly Graves will talk about in just a moment. Didn't go Oregon's way on Senior Day. And, man, just a shout-out to Erin Boley and Lydia Giomi. And I saw a question from Faye on the YouTube stream about watching the senior ceremony, the very different-looking senior ceremony. It is available on the Oregon Women's Basketball Facebook page as it was streamed live on the Oregon Women's Basketball Facebook page. That senior ceremony that was, well, it was a little different for Lydia Giomi and Erin Boley, and wishing them nothing but the best in the future of their careers. Erin Boley has said, she hasn't thought about it, but right now her plan is kind of that she'd move on. She's a senior. She's been through this, and, Erin's going to be successful in whatever she does, probably in basketball for a while first. Well, the Ducks, though, did not get the win against Oregon State. And the way things are shaping up, Oregon will play on Thursday in the Pac-12 tournament with an 11 a.m. start time against maybe Oregon State again. Looks like the Beavs are going to be the 5 seed. Ducks are the 4 seed. Oregon has that first-round bye, but we'll see what happens with the way that the opening round games go. Looks like they might get a rematch with the Beavs coming up on Thursday. Maybe Tahina Paopao able to get back to it. Kelly Graves talked to the media postgame on what was a bittersweet day at Matthew Knight Arena.
KG, can you just talk about trying to run things without Paopao and how you felt like that affected this one?
Well, I think anytime you're without a good player, it hurts. But I've always felt that injuries in the short term, don't affect you as much as you think they might, because it's human nature to step up, have other players step up. And I'm not sure we did that enough tonight. I credit my team, though. They played hard till the end. I'm proud of them for that. We competed. But listen, OSU just played a really, really good basketball game. Everything we tried to do, they were ready for. and made nice counters, and there you go.
Coach, Rob just asked about Pow Pow. Can you give us any indication on her status?
I don't know. I just found out right before the game. So she was in a boot, and that's never a good thing. So I don't know. I haven't had a chance to ask anybody. I have no idea. My guess is you're wearing a boot like that, probably not going to play in the conference tournament. We hope to have her in the NCAA in a couple weeks.
Looking ahead slightly, Kelly, because you mentioned during the week that it's probably going to be these guys with a win, and I realize they still have to play Cal, but let's kind of call that what it is. Your thoughts of just how you go about the next 4 or 5 days to prepare for probably playing these guys again?
Yeah, well, it's going to be a challenge. I mean, they're playing well right now. You know, they had a lot to play for tonight. They're still on the bubble. They were playing for their NCAA lives. We embarrassed them at their place. And, you know, they knew that they were playing even for a 5 seed in this tournament. So they had a lot to play for, and you could tell it meant a lot to them. They played really hard, and they earned it. They deserved it.
We knew Beavers have improved. I thought the Ducks, so overall, you played a pretty decent game, but just couldn't get over that hump when they got a little separation.
Yeah, and we just didn't make any stops. I mean, they you know, ran a set almost every time down, and they ran them perfectly. I mean, they had us scrambling. Maybe I stuck with that big lineup just a little bit. We were exchanging 2s for 3s, and that kind of hurt. But give them credit. They made the plays. They played with a lot more urgency than we did.
I don't know if you've talked about Sedona already, but 22 points, new career high. She was a beast in there, and I know a lot more minutes than she's been playing, 18 a game, so I'm sure she was gassed. But when she was good, she is really good.
Yeah, she played well. It was really nice to see. She was dominant. We didn't get her the ball as much in the second half. You know, partly from what they were doing, but we had other kids that started to, you know, to make some shots. But it was good to see, and we're going to need her down the stretch. You know, I still believe, you know, I'm sure everybody's counting us out, and that's good. That's good. I hope they do.
All right, probably going to get a rematch with the Beavers next Thursday in the Pac-12 tournament in Las Vegas, and you see the improved version. So get ready.
Yeah, now it's our turn to improve. We need to step up and play better. It's a new season, and we've struggled. We've had our struggles, especially down the stretch here, and you know, we got to find a way to right the ship a little bit. I'm still confident. I'm an forever optimist. I really feel like we can, but at some point we've got to actually do it. So right now we're guaranteed 2 games, one in Vegas and one in San Antonio, and we'll see if we deserve to play more in both.
Their ability to hit the 3-point shot was pretty crucial. A couple of times you guys got some momentum cut into it. Missed assignments, kind of what happened on some of those, because they were red hot.
All of the above. Yeah, all of the above. When you try to push the envelope a little bit, maybe trap and try to create some stuff, they did a nice job of finding. And let's face it, a couple of times they had the luck with them too, you know, just kind of a mishandled ball that happened to fall into the right hands. But credit them. They made them count. You know, they made them count.
Kelly, both Sedona and Taylor Mikesell were aggressive today on offense. Is that something you can build on? I know you're concerned about the defense, but getting those 2 more involved, is that a good sign?
Yeah, we knew without Tahina we were going to have to play with Taylor at the point a lot more. It's not necessarily her, you know, her best position, but she handled it quite well tonight. And I thought they both did a good job. And yeah, we need them both. They're 2 of the players that you know, we're going to have to rely on down the stretch here. And now we just got to get more to go with them. I thought offensively we did some decent stuff tonight. We didn't shoot it great, but we did some all right stuff tonight. We got beat at the defensive end.
Coach, with Tahina out, it forces the ball into Taylor's hands and into Jazz Shelley's hands a little bit more. If those are going to have to be your ball handlers moving forward, how confident are you in them to be able to take over that starting ball handler role?
Doesn't matter if I'm confident in them or not. They got to do it. And I do have confidence in my team. I do. I'm an optimist. I just, for some reason, believe that we are at some point going to really, it's going to click. And we're going to play better basketball when it counts here. You know, we're in the field. I'm not worried about that, but we want to get in the field with a little bit of momentum. You know, I think people forget a few years ago when we made our first run here, we lost the 2 games at home going into that tournament, and then got a nice win against Washington up there in the second round, and then kind of took off from there. So I'm hoping that we still have that kind of a magical run left in us. But I have confidence in my players. I wouldn't play them if we didn't, you know, but obviously we missed Tehina, but no, we've got enough. We've got enough.
Coach, typically when you take the point guard off the floor, you probably think a lot of turnovers, but only 5. Where did you guys miss Tehina the most today? Obviously, 5 turnovers, something you'll live with.
Well, she's one of our best players, so you miss her all over the place. Defensively, she's solid. You know, you got people just playing out of position a little bit, and you know, and that affects you. But we've got players. You know, like I said, I'm a believer that. You know, as great a player as Tehina is, that injuries in the short term don't hurt you. Now, they do over time because you're without a really good player. But it's human nature to step up, and we had some step up. We just didn't have quite enough tonight. And, again, I give credit to Oregon State. They came in hungry, they played hungry, and then they executed. That second half was a clinic. You know, if they were smart, they would videotape that, or they have it on videotape and put that out, produce it and sell it. That makes some money.
Kelly, just the amount of threes taken. You guys are 6 of 12, which is solid, and T Mike takes half of them. But just any reason behind just the lower number, because and that's nearly a season low. And at Arizona, you guys took 30 less field goals, so that's a really low number of threes attempted. Was there anything behind, other than Tehina not being there? Obviously, she takes some threes for you. But was there any particular reason why just the low number of threes tonight?
Well, we were a little better inside, you know. So Sedona doesn't normally get the volume of shots that she did tonight. So you're trading 2s and 3s, and plus I think they defended the 3-point line pretty well. They didn't give us a ton of looks. But then when you take Tehina off the guard, you know, off the point, we just don't have a lot of playmakers. We don't have a lot of players that can make plays, and not just for themselves, but for other people. So we didn't put enough pressure on the defense, you know, off the dribble to create more open threes. You know, when you get threes, and look at the ones they got tonight, it was from penetration, you know, and we had to help, and then they kick it out. And if we run at that player, they make that one extra pass for an open shot. It's like the dominoes start to roll, and we just never really got any dominoes rolling.
Yeah, rough one for Oregon women's basketball. And hoping that Tehina Paopao is able to give it a go on Thursday. A 10:30 a.m. pregame show and an 11 a.m. tip-off with Terry Johns and Bev Smith on the call on the Oregon Sports Network as the Pac-12 tournament gets rolling. Need a little momentum. Need a little momentum for sure. So this week in practice, the Ducks are going to be looking for that momentum. We'll next hear from Coach Graves on Tip-Off Tuesday coming up tomorrow, the Oregon Basketball Coaches Show. GoDucks.com/radio. More info on where you can tune in for Tip-Off Tuesday. Well, this is pretty darn cool. Women's soccer got a huge win yesterday. We're going to hear from one of the standouts and the head coach, as the Ducks got a big win over Stanford, I said yesterday, but this weekend. Pretty cool stuff. We'll talk about that next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Hi, welcome to the Spicy Drive-In. May I take your order?
Can I get the spicy chicken sandwich, please?
The spicy chicken is an excellent choice, sir. And to drink?
Whatever's fine.
Oh, may I make a beverage pairing recommendation this evening?
Sure.
If we are feeling especially bold tonight, sir, I would recommend the Mountain Dew with that. It's bravely unrestrained with a very alive aroma that pairs wonderfully with your spicy chicken. It's followed by a hint of zesty citrus flavor.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
I'm sure you already know this, sir, but remember to appreciate the nose first by giving the Mountain Dew a little swirl to relieve volatilize it.
What?
To change the flavor compounds and activate your taste buds to get them fully primed for that chicken sandwich.
It's delicious.
Now you're getting the hang of it. The muscular flavor charge characteristics of Mountain Dew make for an absolutely epic mouthfeel when paired with spicy cuisine. It is quite on point, sir.
Dude, it's a perfect match. Like they were made for each other.
So true, so true.
When you want to make good food bolder and bold food better, do the do.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics. This is the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Listen and imagine. It takes 5 seconds to send a text, and for those 5 seconds, you're driving blind. Life is worth more than a text. Stay alive. Don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, a message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, Noise, and the Ad Council.
Everybody buckle up. Buckle up.
Let's go.
Buckle up.
Can we go to the store? Mom,
buckle
can we get
up.
some ice cream?
Everybody, buckle up.
A lot goes on in the car, but you're in control. So only move when you hear the click that says they're buckled in. Never give up until they buckle up. Learn more at safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
We're back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack here with you inside the Country Financial Studio. Oregon women's soccer with a historic win. That was so fun to see on Friday night. It is our Women in Flight update of the week, always brought to you by our friends at the Duck Store, a proud supporter of Women in Flight. Well, the Ducks certainly took flight. A historic 2-1 win over the defending national champion, Stanford Cardinal. Cardinal scored literally with 1 second left in the match, which kind of stunk. But the good news on that, as Leah Freeman, Duck goalkeeper, said, hey, you know what? Shutout would be great, but it's still a pretty darn historic win as the Ducks beat Stanford for the Cardinal first loss in conference since 2016. Historic win. Leah Freeman talked about that and more.
How confident were you guys that you could pull this off pregame, and did it change it all during the game?
I think that we were all really confident in our abilities before the game, and we knew like if we played like with a team first mentality and we played all together, that's what mattered, and that's what would be good for us, like having a good result in the game. And I think that it's like as the game goes on, obviously like you see your team play and you gain more belief, but like it was always constant. Like we always like knew that we could do it, and we trusted the players we had on the field around us to know that they could do it too.
Graham was just saying earlier how he has such high expectations for goalkeepers, you know, given his past. What is it like playing for someone that has had such a rich history coaching some of the best?
I agree with what he says. He does have really high expectations, but I think it's also like what's crazy about it is that whenever he says something, I trust what he's saying, and I know that what he's saying is for the best. And like even if it's like something that I might think is like a smaller thing, or even if it's a bigger thing, like I always trust what he's saying and trust that it's true. And I have a lot of respect for him, especially given his past, but like just let alone as my coach. And so like, I don't know, it's just kind of crazy. And it just feels kind of like, I don't know what the right word is. Like it just feels good, like knowing that he has this history behind him, like with goalkeepers, and that he knows what he's doing.
From someone who's born and raised in North California, what does this mean to you?
I grew up in Berkeley, so I went to a lot of Cal games, and my dad went to Stanford actually, so I used to go to Stanford games all the time, and I've watched them play since I was probably 8 years old. And I don't know, it means a lot because it's just like, it's been a dream, like ever since I knew I was coming here to play in these Pac-12 games and play against these Pac-12 teams. So I was excited to play them. I knew it was going to be a good game, but it was really exciting for me, and us winning is like a huge thing for me.
How about that? Isn't that cool from Leah Freeman? Growing up in Northern California, a lot of connections there. That's cool stuff. Leah Freeman getting the job done for the Ducks in goal as they knocked off Stanford 2-1. Again, first Pac-12 loss for the Cardinals since 2016. Oregon's first ever win over the Cardinal. You heard from Leah Freeman. She was great. And congratulations to Coach Abel, who I think the team's got a lot of confidence in him. You could hear that. And why not? Coach Abel on just how historic this one was.
We had a game plan. All credit to our kids because they executed the game plan really well. They're a fantastic team. They set the bar across the country for the way teams need to play, and and for what they do. But our kids had a game plan. We executed the game plan. The players didn't play tonight, but the preparation through the week, every single, one of our players, all 25, contributed to that win.
Graham, you told us a couple days ago that you don't change, your style based on who you're playing. So how was it that your game plan how were you able to execute it so well?
I know our student athletes, they invest every single day in terms of what we do, how we train, the information we give them. I'm used, for the past 6 years, I was used to dealing with players that could take on mass amounts of information because they were the best in the world. And I've continued that here just because that was what I was used to. And, again, it's down to our student athlete. They take the information on board and they're able to execute based on that information.
Historic win for Oregon soccer. Graham Abel and Leah Freeman talking about it there. But unfortunately for the Ducks, the bounce back wasn't there on Sunday as the Ducks fell to Cal. First loss of the season, a 1-0 defeat as Cal scored once in the second half, and that was it for Oregon soccer. So 2-1-1 now through the first couple weeks of the Oregon soccer season, and they'll be right back at it as Pac-12 play continues this week. Meanwhile, Oregon baseball was in action. A dramatic come-from-behind win on Thursday that we talked about on Friday. Ducks were down 3-0, came back 1-4-3 in the ninth, and Friday was just a dominant performance for the Ducks. A 6-0 win. Peyton Fuller was outstanding, an Oregon native on the hill who was just dealing for the Ducks. And Saturday was not the Ducks' day. They dropped a 4-2 loss at the hands of Seattle, and Sunday was a chance to win a series. It didn't go Oregon's way. Didn't go Oregon's way, even though they had an opportunity. I thought if they could have taken the lead, it was 4-4. Tanner Smith's up with the bases loaded. It was the fourth pitcher used for the Redhawks in the inning. Tanner Smith hits a hard grounder, but that was it. Didn't get through. I think if that ball gets through, might have been a different game. May not have been an 8-4 loss. Could have been a 6-4 victory or something like that for the Ducks. But unfortunately, it didn't go Oregon's way. Mark Wasikowski, we talked about his thoughts on the series and also just his takeaways from a couple individual performances, because you'll hear me ask him in a moment. I thought Andrew Mosiello pitched really well. Struck out 4 batters after some bad luck in left field. Anthony Hall dove for a ball trying to make a big catch with the bases loaded. Instead, it gets by him. 3 runs end up scoring, and that was kind of the momentum swinging back to Seattle. Those are just a couple plays that stick out to you as you recap a game, and I thought Andrew Mosiello, though, did a nice job to borrow a phrase from Todd Miles, kind of bow his back and be like, all right, I'm gonna come out here and still deal, and he did that. Colin Kafka was really good on the hill for the Ducks on Sunday. I thought the pitching overall, Ducks showed some real bright spots. Offensively, though, as Mark Wasikowski will say, they're still looking for some more consistency. We talked with Waz post-game.
Disappointing, but I really do credit the group that came in here and played. I thought they hit very, very well. They hit against some very good arms, and they hit well. And for that, I really appreciated their level of competition. I thought they had some makeup that was really refreshing to see in a college uniform, and I thought they really hit the ball well this weekend.
Waz, how about Andrew Mosiello? Kind of a tough luck play that ends up with some runs coming in, but then he bounces back, strikes out the next 4, 5 of the next 6. What'd you make of his performance today?
Well, I thought he was, I thought his stuff was good, but I didn't think he executed pitches with 2 strikes. He had chances to put some guys away. As his outing went, the better it went. But in the one inning, I think he hit 3 guys in 1 inning, and was, not able to command the baseball well enough to have success in the big inning.
Isaac Aon, obviously a really talented kid, but got it hit around a little today. What did you see from him, and what do you think he can improve on going forward?
Yeah, same thing. Both those kids, Mosiello and Aon, both have very, very good arms. And for me, both of them just had opportunities in count leverage situations to finish hitters. And you either credit their hitters for being tough outs, or you say that we weren't able to execute pitches when we had them in spots, like in good counts to be able to finish, and we weren't able to do that. That's something obviously needs to be improved by those talented kids.
Just thoughts on Colin Kafka, Waz. How'd he do in his first start of the season?
Well, he didn't give up any runs, and he struck 6 guys out, and he's in 4 innings, and I thought he pitched very well. 58. Was the number that he came out at in terms of pitch count. That was right around where we were wanting to take him, and we're looking for him and some of these other guys, obviously, that we have on the staff. Obviously, they have big arms, and we're excited to get a chance to be able to have another week in front of us to be able to build them back up to where they're at full strength.
Just wondering about Josh Kasivich too. Waza showing a little power this weekend for sure.
Yeah, much improved player. You know, on the weekend, we come out of the weekend as well with no errors. And Josh is a big part of that. You know, the defense on the infield was excellent all weekend. There were some very, very good plays. The routine play was made. It got kind of boring that the routine play was being made, and you just kind of forgot about it, which is a sign of a good defense and Coach Hinkle's investment and work with the infielders. And so I was excited to hear or see that. Yeah, Josh has shown to be a much improved hitter this year. He's much more physical. He's a confident kid. And I guess it wouldn't shock anybody for me to say that the guy's here pretty much as early as anybody and usually stays later than everybody. And the work that he's putting in is clearly showing up. It's not just a deal where he's getting lucky. He's a guy that's working his tail off. And so when positive results like we're seeing with Josh are occurring, it's no surprise. And that's the way the game should work. It should work to reward the people that work the hardest at it. And he clearly is that kid. He's a great kid. His mom and dad have done it right the way they brought him up.
Josh Kasivich, man, playing shortstop. He has been really, really good early in this season, hitting a couple home runs. Different looking hitter, for sure. Different looking defender. He's going to be a staple of this Oregon lineup. Mark Wasikowski, after a 2-2 start to the season, a little disappointed, I think, in the offense. And as the pitchers are able to go deeper into games, you know, both Walker, I believe, and Kafka were on pitch counts. And so this next weekend against UC Santa Barbara, beginning at 3 o'clock on Friday, I think that the pitching depth is going to be there for the Ducks. And now they need that offense to follow suit. Up next, how about Oregon volleyball, man? 7 straight. We'll talk about that after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
After 2 years of construction, my wife and I finally moved into our dream home. So when a bathtub fixture broke, causing major water damage, I was glad we had the home insurance protection we needed. How do you know your home is protected? Talk to a Country Financial rep like me, Nick Simon. We can help you understand your options and select coverages to meet your needs. Then if something happens to your home, you won't have any surprises. Need the right coverage for your home but not sure where to start? Visit TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Most of my family, they never graduated high school, so I'm trying to break that barrier. My daughter Brooklyn was also a motivation for me to go back to school. Every day after work, went straight to school, and it paid off.
At age 26, Kareem finished his high school diploma.
I could not have done it alone. I see the future is really bright for me.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Joey Mack welcoming you back to Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. We take a look at your Cafe Yum 2-minute drill, always brought to you by Cafe Yum restaurants throughout Oregon and Washington, serving Northwest-inspired catering and takeout for your next meeting. Menus at cafeyum.com. Volleyball this weekend, outstanding from Matt Ulmer and his squad. They swept Colorado on Friday, and they won 3-1 on Sunday. But remember, they were just dominating consecutive sets left and right. Well, they ended up losing that opening set. So it was the first lost set after a 10-set winning streak for Oregon volleyball. But then they went on to win the next 3. They've restarted the sets winning streak. And their overall match winning streak has now been extended to 7, marking the first time in program history that the Ducks have won 7 straight conference matches in a single season. Really puts in perspective how good the Ducks have been. Matt Ulmer talked a little bit about that postgame.
I really thought Abby Hansen did a great job blocking. I thought our defense overall was very good, very sound. Kylie had 23 digs as a setter and a 6'2". That's amazing. A lot of that was their strategy, is just trying to keep our setter from setting the ball, which makes a lot of sense. But a lot of that was also just really nice defensive play from her too. So really proud of her, and our defense holding a good team to 0.98 is a feat. I thought our serving started to pick up as the match went on. That was really good. They had lineup changes due to an injury, and I think it took us a little while to figure out the new tendencies of the lineup. And I thought they had a bigger blocking lineup this way, a little bit better defensive lineup. So I thought our offense responded, but not the cleanest offensive night for us, or morning, really early morning, I should say. But overall, it's great to get this win and set up an opportunity to try and win a Pac-12 championship.
Good stuff from Matt Ulmer, man. I'll tell you, he just continues to impress. And obviously, I love the guy. We've got his first career volleyball first career win volleyball here on the desk. Friend of the program, Matt Ulmer. And I just have to say that thanks to Oregon volleyball assistant coach Erica Dillard, we have something very fun in store when Coach Ulmer joins us on Wednesday. So Matt, if you're watching, if you're listening, I'm excited for our conversation on Wednesday. Congratulations to the Ducks, though, in all seriousness. Scott, you got that email, right? Okay, good. Personal best, by the way, for Oregon track and field as well. Ducks continue to qualify a bunch for nationals, a final opportunity, and they had a ton of success hosted by, or in the event hosted, I should say, by Air Force, with a list of Oregon winners featuring Michael Williams in the 60-meter, Brianna Duncan in the 60-meter, Emily Sloan in the 60 hurdle, Dominique Ruolo in the triple jump. I mean, the Ducks just had wins and wins and wins and wins and wins. You got to love to see that. Men's tennis, unfortunately, dropped a couple this weekend. Women's tennis beat BYU and beat Seattle. Women's lacrosse lost a heartbreaker against Central Michigan. They thought that the game-winning goal was in, called off, and then Central Michigan ended up scoring for a 12-1 victory in overtime. And Oregon softball, we're talking with Missy Lombardi on the show tomorrow. They took down number 1 UCLA this week. Fortunately, lost to UCLA in the second game of that matchup earlier today. We'll talk with Missy Lombardi tomorrow.
When you went car shopping, you meant business. You aced vehicle history searches and test drives. You out-salesmaned the salesman. Now you've got your wheels. If you manage that, you can get your retirement plan on track. Visiting aceyourretirement.org can help. With 401k tips and smart saving strategies, you'll have the info you need to get more for your future. Go to aceyourretirement.org, because when it comes to speeding past financial challenges, you're an ace. Brought to you